When supporting students with emotional regulation, it is helpful to identify the signs of escalations in order for the team to best intervene with proactive strategies, support the development of a behavior management plan, and for students to gain awareness of signs when they are escalating. A common and easy tool to use includes the 5-point scale. Now, the 5-point scale is simply a tool that allows us to show 5 progressing levels of something. It could be 5 levels of friendship or 5 levels of voice volume. It can also be modified to a different number of levels. For example, I might start with a 3-level scale if 5 is too overwhelming for a particular student. In our video, however, we are going to focus specifically on using this 5-point scale to support emotional regulation. By using numbers and categorizing different signs into a scale or categories, we can help bring perspective into what the student is possibly feeling. This is important because my "I'm mad" can be different than your "I'm mad," along with different behaviors exhibited. Also, the scale can help students understand that there can be varying degrees of being upset. I may be angry if someone cuts in line in front of me, but that anger is certainly not the same anger or intensity I might feel if someone vandalized my car. Before we continue, I would encourage you to go on to the website 5pointscale.com to access their free downloadable scales under the tab Scales. Here are some examples of the scales. As mentioned earlier, we are going to use a 5-point scale to address escalations and the emotion anger. Now let's go through what the scale can look like. The bottom level is level 1. We want to be in the 1 as it indicates that we are calm, happy, ready to learn, able to problem solve, etc. A 2 is when we are mostly feeling okay, but things are starting to get a little bit iffy with feelings of discomfort and uneasiness. A 3 is when we are definitely frustrated and we are starting to lose control. We're starting to feel like we need to take a break. A 4 is a pretty high level of feeling angry, anxious, confused, and frustrated. We definitely need a break. A 5 is when we are completely out of control. We've lost it, our better self is gone, and we can be in what's called a rage. In this level, typically our executive functioning skills are not present. These skills can include self-monitoring, self-control, memory, and adaptable thinking. Our goal is to remain at level 1, of course, as this is the best level to function at. However, if escalations do occur, our goal is then to develop calming tools for each level so that we can support the student in going back down to a level 1. Once these numbers have been discussed with the student, we can refer to the numbers or colors when using the scale. I often like to have the student draw what they look like at each level. This can include faces of what they look like or pictures of their entire body. Now with these next few sections, if the student is able to, we will fill in the information together. If the student is not able to, adults working with the student who know the student best should take part in filling these sections. At the same time, the more a student can be involved in filling in the content of the scale, the more ownership and buy-in there will be to using the scale. After the numbers are reviewed with the student, and they have drawn what they may look like at each level, we will write down triggers or scenarios that would cause a student to be at a level 1, level 2, etc. Sometimes students do not like to talk about triggers. I find that empathizing with the situation and normalizing the situation and emotions can help build trust and encourage the student to open up. Lastly, we will jot down the tools or strategies that the student can use when he or she is at each level. So as you can see, this is a very simple scale that can be used easily with any student. Even if the student is not able to be involved in the creation of the scale, family members or those working with the student should be able to fill out the content and better understand the student's levels of escalations and effective strategies. Please also keep in mind that you can implement parts of the scale only. For example, if the student requires more time to understand the levels and what they mean, you may need to focus on this aspect of the scale first. Once the concept of the scale is understood, we may not even need the visual of the scale. I've worked with a family before where a mom would say, "Johnny, you're up here right now. Please choose a tool from your toolbox to bring yourself back down here." And this was it. That verbal prompt was enough to help the child become more aware of his emotional state and therefore improve self-regulation.